All right, we've got something special tonight. C.Crane Radios. Jessica Crotty joins us from C.Crane Radio. We're going to get into some Star Wars, some Star Trek, but you'll have to wait to see exactly what that's about. Here we go.
According to Wikipedia, a nerd is a person seen as overly intellectual, obsessive, introverted, or lacking social skills. Many so-called nerds are described as being shy, quirky, pedantic, and unattractive. We're here to prove Wikipedia right.
Oh, look who they let in.
This is Podcast for Sci-Fi, where all things sci-fi come to life. If it's fantasy, sci-fi, gaming, movies, interviews, we're talking about it. We're talking about it. This is Podcast for Sci-Fi, and here's your host, Moose, Game God, and Magic Mike.
Welcome to Podcast for Sci-Fi, where all things sci-fi come to life. Episode number 485. Joined by Magic Mike, Game God, and the one, the only, Jessica Crotty from C.Crane Radio. She joins us tonight. We're going to be having some fun. We hope you are tuning in and listening to have fun with us. And fellas, I want to start with this. First, I want to welcome Jessica onto the podcast. We have a whole show surrounded and developed around her. No pressure at all. I know that I know it's going to be a lot of fun, so we'll have a lot of fun with it. But I want to, before we start with that, I want to kind of go back a little bit. I want to go back. And Game God, I don't know if you have these numbers up because I didn't ask you in the pregame. But
oh boy,
did we know who's winning Fantastic Four or Superman?
Oh, I actually know who's winning this.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I think we do.
Can you tell me who's up? Who's on the board for who's taking the title right now?
So I'll pull up the numbers in a second, but it's not Fantastic Four.
It's not Fantastic Four. Really?
To have a fair comparison, though, we're talking about 2 or 3 weeks difference.
Are we?
Yeah,
it's a 2-week difference.
Okay.
But if you're doing apples to apples, they took a larger drop from weekend to weekend. It was almost a 67% drop from first weekend to second weekend,
wow,
which was more of a drop than the Superman.
Did. And they were equal. They were net in the beginning.
Yeah, correct.
But, okay. Wow.
So yeah,
Superman
unfortunately,
had 4 legs. You're saying?
Yes. Yes. Well, it's the funny part is that it's one of those things where now we're asking, did MCU really make a good movie? And the problem is internationally, it doesn't have the legs of a Superman movie.
So are you changing your score for the movie?
Nope, still an 8.
yeah. So I don't understand why you would say we have to question MCU because we are.
No, I'm not saying we.
Oh, I see.
We as the other we. I'm a me. That's a we. Yeah. So it's just not. And we're not going to see much more than this. I think right now, roughly or worldwide, they're at just a little under 400 million.
Okay.
So they're just losing steam left.
That's
and right.
not bad. I'll take those numbers.
Yeah, I guess you will. But the $1 million days of
had just under 400 million, listeners. So that's it's okay.
Not bad for 2 weeks.
Jessica, did you see any of these movies? Did you see Fantastic Four or Superman?
I have not the new.
That's okay. That's all right.
I
See,
have not.
this is why Fantastic Four
that's right.
can't. It's not.
Yeah.
You can't get
Jessica, it's your fault. It's your fault that
It's
Fantastic
totally
Four is
my
not
fault.
making money.
Yeah, I think though. I'm pretty sure my oldest son did.
Okay, well that
Okay.
counts. That
Well,
counts.
that does count. Now we would like your vote as well, but I guess we'll have to wait one more week.
I'll have to ask him. Be like,
Yeah, exactly.
Which one? Because he probably saw both or will. Sometimes
Well-
he'll go on the Rotten Tomatoes and be like, yeah, no, I'm not actually
Oh,
gonna
wow.
spend my money. and
Oh,
go see.
Also
Well,
you're a
funny-
Rotten Tomatoes type of
funny you
person.
say that.
Okay.
He is. I don't watch very many movies these days.
So what? That's a great question. So what was the last movie you think you saw in the theater?
Oh, gosh.
Not
Oh,
streaming,
man.
not at
Yeah.
home.
Jaws 25th anniversary.
I have littles, and so my older ones are much older, but my littles probably something Disney. If I'm being
Okay,
honest.
okay,
Oh,
she
you know
saw
what? Moana
Moana.
2.
Yes, I
Oh,
knew
yeah.
it.
That was the
She saw
last.
Moana
Fine.
too.
Yeah,
Fine.
Moana 2. That was the last one we went and saw.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I applaud you. I applaud you. Well, we've got movies are tough. Movies are tough right now because we still have a huge debate on whether it's worth going to see in the movie theater or not, or just wait for streaming. Because honestly, typically my system at home is way better than any theater. But I did recently have a nice experience in one of the theaters, so that was a pleasant surprise. And we did recently see those big 2 blockbusters, but there's always a debate on which one's going to be the taker, the winner. It sounds like Superman might get it.
Yeah.
I
They're making
tell
a
you
part 2 of Superman, so that's the winner.
They are. I think they're already writing the script. I read in one
Yes,
of the
they
sources
are,
that we
yeah.
have. So, a couple of things real quick here. This is fun. This is something new. This is a new product that came out, and I want to share it with you real fast. So it's by Fan Drop. Now this, I want to see if I can get a good picture of this. But look at this. Look at this Star Wars. It's like little action figures. They don't move, but they just kind of sit on your desk. And it's got Luke and Darth Vader's up there. And Luke is, by the way, he's without a hand. This is the
Oh,
impact.
wow. I see that. Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
No, that looks great. That's incredible. Game God, I got to tell you that I knew it was going to still be in the box when he was going to bring it up to show us.
Absolutely.
When he says it's going to sit on the desk, it's sit on the desk just like that.
Just like that. No. It's a matter of fact, it's not even on the desk. There you go.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the spot right there. Yeah, right there.
I do have something else. A company that we love. We've worked with them before. The Wand Company. You guys know the
Yep.
Wand Company. They have
Yep.
really great stuff. Matter of fact, some things did make it out of the box from the Wand Company, and that is
That's because it didn't come in a
now
box.
This one you've seen. This is the Star Trek
Yes.
communicator. Well, yeah, it's really great prop. It works. That one's not charged, so I can't do anything with it.
Great job showcasing it.
But the Wand
Came
Company.
prepared.
Oh, here we go. Did you charge this?
They sent me this wonderful thing that they had
Oh,
development for years now.
wow.
Wait, don't say where it's from. We're gonna quiz Jessica here.
Great. I'll give you a
Polaroid camera.
Close. Yeah. This is the first Polaroid camera. No,
Man,
this is something great. They've been working on this. They've been developing this bad boy for
There's
a
a rabbit
while
on another
now. It's got great little compartments. It's got a fun little disc in there, but I'm gonna see if I can get it to
Jessica, I hope you're Googling this because you're coming up with the question of what it is.
I'm definitely getting an F on that.
She's the tech person. Are you kidding? All right, let's
There you go.
Goes down here. Hold on. Let's see. Okay.
We've been running this through the.
Lighten up here. Oh, there's a.
There you go. There
right
you go.
Here. There it is.
There
Oh, it's
it
a great
is.
looking screen.
All right.
Let me take a picture of that code.
This is from Star Trek, the original series, TOS, and this is the tricorder. This is just released, hot off the press. As a matter of fact, if you go try to order it, it'll probably say it's out of
$600.
stock for many days, many weeks. But
I'm assuming you sent mine. You've already sent mine, Moose.
yes, of course. No
Wow,
problem.
that was a real genuine laugh.
Yeah.
This actually does some other stuff. I can't really show you. The screen is small, just like it would be on the tricorder from the original series. But very cool. I've played with it for about 5 minutes, and it's kind of heavy, and I love it. And it's going to sit
Right there. Right there.
And on this magnetic stand, it's going to sit somewhere in this room, and that's where it'll stay.
I want again. We're going to point out. I played with it for 5 minutes, and that's all it's going to get.
This isn't a review. No, that's because this isn't a review of this tricorder, but it is USB-C chargeable. So if you do a cosplay, if you like the props, this is amazing. And
We don't call him the collector for no reason. So
That's right.
I can't wait. The USS Enterprise. That's wonderful.
that's-
Anyway,
that's awesome.
really
Listen,
cool.
For a minute, he
Another
lost
time.
himself. He didn't know he was on the podcast. He's like, it's a really nice device here. Yeah. Oh, hey guys. I'm
Very
back.
cool. Yeah. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. So anyway,
Thanks, Moose. Thanks for that.
Did you guys have any show and tell? I'm just
The-
curious.
You really?
Yeah. Okay.
He surprised us with the show and tell. I'm not
Yeah,
going
he
to compete
did.
with the
Jessica,
TOS
by the way,
tricorder.
this is standard right here. Good job.
Yeah.
So, The other show and tell that we have, we're going to get to right now.
Wait, there's more.
Okay, I was gonna say another
There
one,
we
but
go.
yes, okay.
She's like, "Am I in the wrong place?" You know.
This one's going to be. This one is it's going to be one to give away for the listeners. We're going to figure out what they need to do to get it. That we haven't figured out yet.
Oh, I'm typing my name in right now to get it. So
mine's right here. Look at this. This is where you get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, mine's right here.
If I'm not mistaken, you can actually pick up Podcast for Sci-Fi on that radio. Right there. Yeah. So you just have to find it. There's lots of to find on the radio. There's no secret the radio's been around a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no secret that C.Crane's been around a long time participating in this no secret. Jessica Crotty joins us on the podcast. She's CEO of C.Crane Radio. I thank you for joining us, Jessica. We're going to talk about that radio right there and the other stuff that you guys do. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Now, talking about radio's been, when I think of radio, just radio, I think of that's the first electronic entertainment that I could possibly think of. Before TV, right?
Yeah.
Before TV, before TV was invented, people gathered around the radio and they listened to stories, or they listened to music, or they listened to whatever. This is what they did. And believe it or not, they're still doing it in different ways, but it's just a mobile radio, or they do it at their home now. Either way, they're doing it. Their phone. They can do it on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Just incredible medium that continues to go and go and go, and it's been around for as long as before I was born. Game God, I don't know if you know that.
That's a long time.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
I was gonna suggest that when he says they sat around the radio, he means him.
That's right. That's right. Hey, little moose, small letters.
Guys, Jessica, is head of a company that kind of blends tech, nostalgia, survival, real world innovation. That's what she's doing there at C.Crane. And if you've ever tuned into a shortwave radio or AM/FM, anything, imagine what communication would be like, maybe from an alien invasion, perhaps. This is for you. Like this is the company for you.
Yeah, whether you're prepping for a zombie apocalypse like Moose, which if you could see his room, you would agree. Tuning in from the desert like me out here in Las Vegas, or even trying to reach a pirate signal across the galaxy like Game God. Yep. You've probably either heard of C.Crane or you've used one of their radios.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm glad to have you as part of the Podcast for Sci-Fi Universe, Jessica. So let's get you in there and start giving you some questions.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, she's going to answer everything, including life's third, fifth, and seventh dimensions. We're all going to talk about that. Jessica, you've got one of those rare stories, though, rising through the ranks of C.Crane, the company you believed in. What drew you to the world of radios and eventually into the CEO chair?
Yeah, so I started in customer service, and they were hiring, and I had worked at a gym, and I was ready to do something different, and they were growing, and the phones were kind of ringing off the hook. We were advertising at the time on Art Bell. If you're in the desert, you might have known who Art Bell was. He was a really famous talk show host on overnight radio, did the paranormal stuff. His show now is still on air, Coast to Coast, and George Norrie, and we still advertise on that. And at the time, though, when we started, Bob Crane is the founder of the company. He was advertising on KDON, which was a single station out of Vegas that Art was started on. And he started getting syndicated. And so when I came on, like things were just growing. And so it went from like he was on 10 stations to he was on 20 stations to he was on 400 stations. And it was just kind of a wild ride for a bit there. And then Y2K was kind of a thing, right? And I got in on the tech side. I had an opportunity. Our manager at the time, he was did like networks, right? Networks was new at
Right,
the
right,
time.
right.
Like we had
Yeah.
a coaxial network when I started. So like, the daisy chain around.
Right.
And so
I don't know what
one of
network
my
is. I'm
first
sorry, I'm pretty
jobs,
young.
it's
What's
like
networks?
bat files would copy files across the computers, and then you'd have to figure out where it broke
Yeah.
because it broke inevitably because it was copying a lot of data, and so you'd have to go and figure out. And so that was kind of my intro into tech. And then Gateway came out with computers, like personal computers. So we started getting computers, but none of them had network cards. And so we had to install network cards into all the computers. And that was, blue screen of death time because
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
IOs and everything
Now you're
would
talking language I can
clash.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would clash, and then like you didn't have a serial port for the printer, so you had to add that, and then if you added that, now the network card doesn't work. So it was just that was my life for a really long time at C.Crane, but it was fun because I got to learn all this stuff that I didn't know anything about. Um, and so that was like kind of my growth with the company. I went to IT. I also was involved in sales and marketing. I was kind of one of those weird ones that had the IT side, but also like people.
I would say, yeah, that's a unicorn. Yes,
This
exactly.
is like, 'cause I was told that often. I was told that often. And so, yeah, so that was kind of the beginning. And then the Y2K thing that happened, Art was a big part of bringing awareness to that on his show that the coding, was going to be a problem. And so we actually, even our own system, we had our own like homegrown order entry system, and it was written in DBase, and that didn't translate because the dates were all in 2-digit formats. So it was going to roll, it wasn't going to roll, and everything
Right.
like our reports weren't going to work. And so it was, like hundreds and thousands of lines of code that we had to rewrite in order for our stuff to function. But Y2K, and then when Y2K didn't happen the way everybody expected, because actually the prep that people were doing worked for the
Paid
most
off.
part.
Yeah.
Banks didn't shut down and all the things. Um, then people that were buying the emergency radios, because we had 97 and 98, there was like El Nino and La Nina too that happened, and Art had written a book.
My cousins.
And so, yeah, and so wild stuff, right? So all these things that people like think the world's going to end whenever anybody thinks the world's going to end, which I think a lot of the shows that you were talking about is what it's based on, right? Like
Right.
that the
Yeah.
world's
Yeah.
ending.
Well, Moose,
Some
Moose
world
thinks the world's
somewhere
gonna
is
end. That's why
ending,
he's got-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that is why people buy radios. Like a
That's
lot
right.
of the time, they think the world's going to end, and so or their world
That's
as
right.
they know it. And so we sold Bajan Free Plays. If you look it up, it's hilarious. It looks like a Fisher Price toy. It was this giant wind-up radio, the first really of its kind. And then we also added a solar component at the time and an LED light.
Wow.
And we were doing that in-house, and trucks would come in, and we would sell them all, and it would come back out. And it was like I said, it was kind of a wild time. And then Y2K didn't happen, and things kind of went whew, like
Yeah.
in a weird way. And then the dot-com bust,
Right.
did its thing, and so like a lot of ups and downs throughout. But I spent a really long part of that time at my time so far at C.Crane in systems and information systems and operations on that side of things. So API development and integrations and coding and computers and
Became
hardware
current.
and all
Okay,
Like you
that.
got it.
said, yeah.
Yeah.
We fast forward to the future. I like this.
Yeah,
Like
all
I said,
that.
the unicorn. Like when I played sports, I played sports, but like comics and playing video games. That didn't mix. That didn't make the locker room happy. They were like, "What? No,
What's
no,
he-
no, we don't do that. What's wrong with you?"
Yep.
Right.
So that's exactly right. So when did you? Was there a moment where you said, "Oh, this is bigger than a gadget. This is about connecting people"? Because that's what I hear when you say, communication. That's exactly what people want to tune into. Other people's communication. Like they want to listen to it, and that's exactly what you bring them.
So Bob was really the big push behind that. He and his wife that founded the company, they moved from the Bay Area to where we are now in Fortuna, California. And so we're like behind the redwood curtain. That's what people
Yeah.
will say. And couldn't get their favorite radio station out of San Francisco, which was KGO. And so he found an antenna that could help him get the signal, and everything forward was kind of built off of that. And then back then, AM was not a well-served audience. And so he's like, we need to really focus on that because that's what he liked to listen to. And so that's where we developed, or he developed, a lot of the product. And then we've continued since then. And as I've learned, like I spent a lot of time on the phones talking to customers and going to shows and finding out that kind of like probably what you see in the Comic-Con kind of stuff is like there's this whole swath of people that are into a particular thing in a very deep level. And some of our customers, shout out to one of our top fans, Steve. He said he's going to watch the podcast, but
All
they have
right.
Nice.
like one of all of our radios. You know, they have like
Yeah.
every one that we've ever potentially made, and that's what I found is that there's people out there that are just, this is their community, this is how they enjoy their life and how they connect, and they're very loyal and very dedicated to a particular host or station or show or genre.
Right.
And yeah, and so it's been really fun to see that evolve over time, because like when I started, we were carrying other people's products. We
Right.
didn't have our
Oh,
own.
okay.
Right.
So we carried other people's, and Bob used to try to find the best and then the best for the money. And then I think it was 98 when we made our first radio.
Wow.
And it took him a long time to find a manufacturer that was even willing to kind of take a bet on us,
Right.
because we didn't have that background, like we weren't, and so built from there. And yeah, and so as far as the moment of like when I was like, oh, I've been with the company for 30 years this next year. So I think it was 29, is it 29 years this month?
Wow.
Um,
That's great.
That's a long
yeah,
time.
yeah,
you,
so
you
I've
had
been here
mentioned.
for a minute.
First
Yeah,
of all,
that is a minute.
First of all, I want to say Steve and I, evidently, we don't even know each other, but I love Steve already because he's a tech guy. I can tell. He's a tech guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
wouldn't put it past him to be having some storage units.
That's Moose's brother, Steve.
Yeah,
I love him.
in this community, it's always smaller than you think it is. Because you had mentioned K-Don. I am here out of Las Vegas, and I didn't know it had been there that long. But I
Yeah.
listen to K-Don every day. And,
It's so
and I'm
funny.
I'm a huge AM fan. I love AM radio. Whenever I'm with somebody else, they look at me like I'm crazy. I have two heads. I'm listening to AM. What are you doing? Is AM? Really?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I have
Right.
some history with some AM towers and things a lot, but I won't get into that. But so I have a little bit of closeness to that, and I love that. But so for me, that's a memory for me. What if you can recall your first memory of radio? Was it music? Was it news? Weather
So
alerts?
it was music for me. My dad's a pastor, and so growing up, I had really strict, like I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things related to media and consumption, and so radio, like especially music, especially new music, was like
Yes.
over at
Yes.
friends' houses with the boombox, and
Yeah.
so
Mm.
creating the mixtape,
I
right?
also love your dad. I love your dad.
And
now.
waiting for the song, and then the radio DJ would come over and like ruin your song, right, for your mixtape.
That's right.
But yeah, that's my first real memory with radio.
That's
Man,
right.
how many
FM.
TDK tapes you have there? I bet you can find it.
Right? Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
that-
A mixtape. WAPE, Admin FM, Jacksonville.
Oh,
You
my
got,
goodness gracious.
and then all this stuff. All this talking, but you had to get it. You had to get it, or you
Yeah,
had
get it. You had to be ready.
yeah. You had Casey Kasem at least a little bit on that tape because of the top 40. You knew
Yeah.
that you had to listen and tape that.
Listen, I only know who that guy is because of these guys. Listen here. So your radios, we know that your radios are known for performance and durability. That's hands down, right? But in a world obsessed with like streaming and AI and that on-demand piece, why do you think people still cling to radios, especially the kind you make?
Yeah, so I think some of it is the simplicity of it, is that you kind of just get tired, I think, of all the buttons and all the gadgets and all the data that has to be input. I know a good portion of our customer base, particularly, they're very conscious of being the product, and they don't want to be the product. And so with radio, you're the product from an advertiser's standpoint, but you're not the product from eyeballs and clicking and pushing the buttons standpoint, right? So nobody's tracking you and what you're listening to, sort of with maybe Nielsen somehow, but not really. And so that I think is a big piece to why people cling to it. It's also the reliability. I mean, it works. You turn it on, it works. I don't have to do an update every time I turn it on. It works the same way. I tune it in. I do, like, maybe it doesn't work the same way because I got a new TV and now they're static. But now that's why we're here to help you figure that out, right? So, but that's, I think, another reason why people like that. And then I think there's a trust factor. I think there's a trust factor that's different with radio hosts because they are regulated differently. They can't just say whatever they want because there's people paying attention to it. And so they do build a different trust. Not that they don't ever say things that maybe don't get them in trouble. I mean, there's plenty of lawsuits that have been settled, but there are lawsuits, right? Because of what they said and that. Like, so I think there is a level of credibility that exists with a good portion of the hosts that creates a different relationship than maybe social media or different places where it's harder to vet what's being said or how it's being said.
That's kind of like, I would think it's kind of like the culture, you know, that's just, it's part of that culture, the whatever that culture is. And when I say culture, I mean, you know, depending on what you're listening to, I think that's part of it. I mean, I think that people relate to, you know, different segments of everything you're listening to on your radios. And I think that's why Steve have it as every single one, because he's part of the culture, you know. I want to geek out a little bit. There's something inherently sci-fi about radio signals. I mean, we get all kinds of movies. I could list movies from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s, 90s, and current. But you know, with signals bouncing around the ionosphere and cross-planetary communication, whatever it is. Do you see C.Crane as part of that legacy? Do you see the continuing legacy of that being? Can we put you in a movie? That's really what I'm asking.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think so. I do. I think so, and I think you do. Like you said, you've seen it, where maybe that's the portal, right?
Yes,
to
exactly.
some thing, or the thing that's bringing in the alien invasion, so to speak, or whatever it is. As far as the tech side of it goes, like you were saying, the AI, we actually had a conversation earlier today about what is AI's role with radio going forward, because, you know, noise is an issue, right? Is there opportunity to incorporate it in different ways? They're doing it in medical imaging, they're doing it in other places. And so looking at where does it fit for improving that quality and that listenability and all the things that people care about.
Yeah. Moose, I have to step in now because you have took me a direction with, speaking of going a little geeky and talking about some different things. So let's have a little fun. All right. Okay.
Lay it on me.
So this question is going to be for Jessica, but anybody can answer it after she does.
I got my fingers on the button. All right, let's go.
All right. So let's just picture yourself. You're stranded on Mars. There's a solar storm has wiped out all of the satellite communication, and you've only got one option for a C.Crane radio device. Which one are you bringing, Jessica, and why?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think
I'm bringing this guy. I'm bringing this.
Yes.
Yeah, the reason
this one's
is
solar
because
powered,
it has,
right?
yeah, it has all the power options. So if my batteries run out, I can wind it up. It has LED flashlight. It can charge my cell phone. Not that my cell phone would work under those environments, but you know, maybe it came back.
We can hope.
Yeah, so that's the one I would take.
I'm gonna have to lead to the expert, Magic Mike. I lean with whatever Jessica. As a matter of fact, I could see what was it, Matt Damon, when he was in that movie where he was stranded on Mars.
Yeah. The Martian.
Yeah.
He should have had this one. This was.
I thought you were gonna bring up Interstellar, but okay, you go with Martian.
Oh, that's another good one. Yes. I wish I'd have thought about that one.
Yeah. 3 years later, he comes out and he watches it and wants to talk about it.
Yeah, sorry.
Listen,
moving.
I got a better one. If you were designing a sci-fi survival radio for a dystopian film, what features would it have?
Yeah, in that case, I would actually add some of the amateur radio features. So that way you could send and receive. Ours are all receivers. But in that case, so that way, if there was somebody out there, and there is, right, that's a big part of our group too, is
Right.
ham radio operators.
Right.
And so, like that functionality, right now we have radios that do just receive, so you can listen at least and know that there are people out there. But in this case, you'd want to be able to talk. So I would add that.
Wait. Hold on. So when can I pre-order? like I want to be first dibs, right? So
you want to be first dibs. All right. I'll check in with the engineers on that and be like, hey guys.
Yeah,
They'll
I'll
be
send
like,
you my email
Jessica, you gotta stop with your ideas.
Okay.
That's the fun thing is that, I know that it's really techy, really geeky, but like in CB radio, even, going back to the days of, Smokey and the Bandit,
Yeah.
I mean, you can get these, they call them, and I don't know that much about it. What I do know is like they call it skip. Like you can hear somebody from just on the CB radio from across the nation or further. And it's happened to me. And I just think that's awesome because these radio waves, which I don't understand them all, but I understand the principle behind it. And you just never know what you're going to get. I mean, ham radio, same thing, pull
Single sideband.
Yes.
The aviation. So we've got that. The single sideband is interesting because one of our sales reps, his brother was on a sailboat and he used like Morse code through single sideband, but he would send messages that way, and was like, all right, because he didn't have. I mean, there was nothing else. That was the only way he could get communication because of where he was at. There's like no cell, no satellite, no nothing, and so I was like, well, that's a cool. So he had a little single sideband, and it would be like at a set frequency. He knows he's gonna like on this day at this time he's gonna be broadcasting, and
that's awesome.
it's like that's a
she's
cool
just bragging,
thing, right?
Like she's talking about all the text. So now she's just bragging, right?
Well, that's the funny thing is that it's just not. Like I said earlier, it's not just about tech. It's about trust. It's about communication. It's about accessibility. And I when I think of C.Crane, has C.Crane taught you anything surprising just like that about people and how they stay connected? I mean, I think that's
absolutely.
One.
Yeah. So we have a large group of blind customers also,
and
yes. I had no idea, like, how just independent and how capable, right? And so Bob took a lot of effort to make sure that like our buttons have spots where you can feel. We also, before we started carrying our own products and making them a certain way, we would have plastic buttons that we would sell or provide.
Right.
And that way people could put like placeholders so they know like this is where the middle button is. And that way they have a reference point for everything else. But part of our training and part of some of the training we still do is blindfold our staff. And you have to walk somebody has to walk you through, like as a phone operator.
I love it.
And so that way you actually have to be that person because it just totally changes the way that you communicate. Because you're just like, oh, well, on the screen, it's like, no, like, it's not like you got to listen for the beep or you've got to like go left, go right. Like the way you provide instruction is much different. So yeah, that was a huge difference. And then also just the way you write. I feel like Bob's taught me a lot about that, and I've learned a lot listening to our customers about how we write and try to make it something where anybody can understand it, but we're not also insulting people that know a lot. So we're not trying to dumb it down to a point where it's like, I don't respect what your knowledge is, but I'm also not trying to make it and use all this technical jargon and not explain anything that somebody that's a novice would feel like, oh, they're just patronizing. And so we definitely try to find that balance.
Yeah, I think that's a great piece of information that probably most people don't get to hear about your story and what you do as a company, because that's an important piece. I never would have thought that you would have doing these things blindfolded so you can relate and talk to your customers. I think that's awesome. And we've talked about the past, and we've talked about, you know, the future of Game God, what he wants in the future for the radio. But what keeps you going today? And maybe you've already answered this question. Is it the tech? Is it the customers? Is it your mission?
Yeah, it's the mission and our customers, and it's not as easy today. Like when I started, you know, I think radio probably peaked in like 2008, 2009. That was probably like the peak. Rush Limbaugh was on.
Right,
All
right.
these, you know, people were like, I mean, I think it was, gosh, I'm trying to think of when we went live. One of my first jobs was to switch us over to like a dedicated website, and then back then they didn't have managed services, right? So you
Right.
had to like
You had to
co-locate.
understand everything.
Yeah, we're in the middle of like, we're rural. We're real rural. So there's not a pipeline. So you couldn't do stuff like that here. And even if you tried, it was so crazy expensive. So I remember we found a place in Atlanta that would do like co-location. And so I could get a server and rent. I didn't know Windows NT, and I didn't know SQL Server, and I didn't know. So I had books, you guys,
Wow.
like books. And then I rented time from their different engineers to help me do the thing that I needed to do so that I could do the thing that we needed to do. Because what was happening is Art was getting so popular, he would crash our shared server, and so they would like basically turn us off so we could take
Right.
orders.
Right.
And so we had to get to a spot where we had our own server so we weren't crashing. And then we went on Rush's show, and at the time, it was a crazy amount for an ad, just one ad, and it crashed
Super Bowl.
our own
Yes.
server. And so I was like, you know, here's my boss at the time going, hey, like we just spent whatever it was, like $25,000, which was insane at the time for an ad.
Right.
And and so it was a interesting time at that peak, but it's been more challenging, especially after COVID, honestly. There was a lot of consolidation that happened with manufacturers and chips and different things. And so the parts side of things has gotten to be more challenging. I'm not going to pretend like there aren't days where I'm like, oh, boy, it would be a lot easier to make anything else. Like, anything that did not have a chip.
Right.
Like, can we go to make like, you know,
Pasta.
glasses or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything else. Like, let's make a pen, you know?
Fettuccine Alfredo is what you
Origami.
Yeah,
you can
like,
do it.
can you just like open a restaurant. Yeah, that's terrible business though. I have
Yeah,
people
no,
Don't
no,
do
I'm
like,
restaurant.
I don't want to do that
restaurant.
either.
No.
Don't do that.
I love restaurants, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to be in one. But
That's right.
yeah, that's what keeps us going though, is the community, but also that service, right? Like you know, it is still an underserved market, and it's less served now because it's the consolidation. I think as far as I know there's some companies that do the ham radio equipment and some of those bigger specific things that are US based, and I think US made ish, you know, like where they
Right.
make it here, maybe parts are imported, but we're one of the few American owned. I think there's only one other one that I know of that makes regular kind of radios. Midland is the other one.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
so we
yeah.
don't want to talk about them during.
Yeah.
We won't.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't really
didn't buy the time.
compete directly with us.
true, yeah.
They do like the handheld like walkie-talkies, and they do have the weather, but it's just weather, and so it's not quite the same as what we do. So everybody else is a foreign owned company that's out there making products. So
That is
they don't have the service, they don't have the same connection, and they don't advertise radios on radio.
Right. Right.
What? No
So
way.
they're not supporting radio the same way we are. So I think that's a big part. And then the emergency side. I think every home really should have a radio, regardless if you listen or any of the things. I mean, we saw it in Kerrville, Texas,
Right.
Yep.
in North Carolina with the
Right.
hurricane, with LA and the fires, Maui and the fires. That was literally the only way people could get information. And you know, when
Well-
you're in that situation, you want to be prepared.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm in Florida, Jessica, and in Florida we get hurricanes every single year, every single year. And there's one brewing right now. Matter of fact, if anybody is,
I
The
heard that.
Bahamas.
yeah. So every time, like it is important because it's not if you're going to lose power, it's when, and you
Right.
will lose power, and you need a backup. You need a way to listen to communication, even if you can't. You can receive it, even if you can't send it. You need to be
Right.
able to receive it to know what's happening.
Yep.
And
So-
that's absolutely important.
So
Absolutely.
I'm not going to make this a great segue. Let's talk about lightning round since we're talking about hurricanes.
That was not a great segue. You are correct. It was not. So.
Not my job. Not my job. All right. So, Jessica, I wanna do a lightning round with you. I got some
All right.
quick questions.
Yep.
And first thing that comes to mind, go with your gut. All right.
All right.
Don't think about it now. Just say it.
Okay.
All right. Favorite
That's not my
sci-fi
strong
movie.
suit.
Favorite
Favorite
sci-fi
song.
movie.
Favorite sci-fi movie. Is Lord of the Rings sci-fi?
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No.
Good.
There we
Good.
go.
Good. Follow up question. Which one?
The
geez.
first one.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I'm
Okay.
okay with
Okay.
that. I'm
Okay.
okay with
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
AM.
The correct
FM.
answer was The Return of the King.
That one is so sad.
Oh, there we go. 2 towers for me. Thank you very much. AM, FM, or shortwave? What's your go-to?
FM.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What C.Crane product everyone should own?
The CC Radio Solar.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Everyone should have that.
So, dream sci-fi franchise you would love to collaborate with.
Ooh,
Oh,
gosh, that's a
good
good
question.
Hold on, I
Dream
got
sci-fi. Man. Gosh.
Come on now, we got
Star
connection.
Wars.
So, all right, all right.
Yeah.
Star
man,
Wars.
Probably Star
Oh.
Wars.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I can't
I
deny
mean, that's
that.
one of my favorites. So, yeah.
Then you're right. You're right in our wheelhouse. Now, I would say, we know a lot of cosplayers. We know a lot of people that do these props. I'd love to get my hand on a C.Crane radio and have these guys, weather this thing and put and add all the flares to it of Star Wars. Like that would. They are
Oh,
so
yeah.
good. They are so good at doing it.
Yes.
They disassemble it. They mark it up. It'll look like it came right out of the movie. I can't wait for that. Now, I do have something with that game guide. Now this is
Do you?
yeah. Now this goes on. And as you may or may not know, Magic Mike is our lawyer. So thank you, Magic Mike, for
I didn't know that.
yeah.
You,
I'm
did you
just
get the
kidding. I'm
paycheck?
just-
You got the
I'm
check?
just- so he's approved all this. Is really what I'm saying. But this is so. In the realm of sci-fi and fantasy and video games and tech, there's a game out there, and it's called Fallout.
Oh,
And,
piqued my interest. Okay.
Yeah. So Fallout, what happens in Fallout, Game God? Now you're the game god, so you
course,
should know
of
this.
course.
So in Fallout, this is like a post-apocalyptic type
Correct.
game.
Like
and
radiation fallout,
Right,
atomic
radiation.
bombs, everything just
Right.
gone.
So what's the first thing you hear in the game when the game starts up? What's
Come on
the
now. I hope
if
you're
I-
not. You
I'm just-
listen.
I-
You hear radio. You
radio?
hear radio wave.
Yes, that's right, Game God. You're right. So if you hear the radio and you hear listen to old music, you hear it, and it just brings you right back. So what I did was I took the liberty.
Sorry, it's copyrighted.
Jessica, I hope you don't mind. I took the liberty of saying, okay, now what would it be like if C.Crane Radio branded with Fallout? Like if they had a licensed product. Now this is just for fun. And so-
Oh man,
Wow.
that looks incredible.
Love
Wow.
it.
Hey, Jessica, when can I pre-order? Wow. This
Yeah.
is incredible.
I love this. This is a this is the Pip-Boy of radio. Now, do you guys know what the Pip-Boy is? I know.
Yes,
Hold on,
yeah.
let
Of
me-
course, absolutely.
I'm gonna show you this because my thought is this would be great to have with a branding that you're getting radio signals from, and it's straight from the video game. Like this is great. But
And look, and by the way, he took your notes. He put the buttons on there for you, so you know
Right,
what
I
to
saw
go.
that.
Yeah.
I did everything. Don't worry, I got it. All right, now so this is for fun. I pulled up we talked about them earlier. Who made that tricorder over there? The One Company. Now they recently came out with something. They do a lot of fun stuff. And I just want to show you. This is another wild idea, but this is what they use in the video game. So these are
Oh
Pip-Boy,
my
Yeah.
goodness.
right?
That's a Pip-Boy.
That's a Pip-Boy.
Yep, that's the Pip-Boy.
And you can
Yep.
imagine a C.Crane radio right there.
Like it goes on their arm. Is that-
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
No. You just all you gotta do is connect the CC pocket to that, and you're good to go.
Just stick it
Yes.
right on there.
That's right.
There. You can hear the Geiger counter going off, you know, as you're listening to the
Get
radio.
the sound
signal.
effects. Oh man.
Yeah.
Funny story. We actually used to carry Geiger counters at one point when I was
Oh,
working.
really?
Yeah,
There
like
you
way
go.
back. Yeah.
I
We had
love
a
it.
microwave actually that we got rid of because of it.
That is fun.
Wow.
That's really scary. Don't tell me that now.
Now he wants it. Now he wants to send it.
Now
Let's
I
get it. Where can I buy it?
I got to get one from my house now.
Dude, yeah, get one. Especially if you have anything really old. We had a really old microwave at our old place with
I
C.Crane.
scared everybody, and they're like, "Get that thing out of here." I love
Yeah,
it.
they're like, nope, can't have that.
Yeah.
And Game God is not known for his sound effects, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
He does it
That's
all
my
the
part-time
time.
job. That's my
He is
part-time
known.
job.
Now this is another one. I got just one more. It's this is going to be a fun one. It's we talked about the Fantastic Four movie and about how, you know, when I see this, I see our logo everywhere in the movie, and I loved it. But it was built in the 60s. You know, Fantastic Four, came from the comics in the 60s. And in the movie, you get to see it. It's set in the 60s,
Love the
but with
build-up.
high tech. But you had tech.
Yeah.
And so it didn't have to look like today's tech. It just had look like high tech in the 60s, which I love. So I was
I
like,
love
well,
the build-up. I love this
Yeah.
build-up.
This will be good.
I'm like, well, what would it look like if
Wow.
like
That's awesome.
Fantastic Four
Wow,
movie?
with the little light and
look at
the
that.
spring coil
You see that in
there.
Baxter Building Labs,
Yes.
you've got like the little LED, like the Edison bulb, like up top when it comes. Like,
Yeah, that's
fun to
awesome.
me. I just think that's
Look at that.
I
Great branding. Yeah, C.Crane right in the front there. I
Yeah.
like that.
Oh,
That's
man.
good.
so
Looks like
yeah,
Jessica's got her work cut out for her now.
I know, man. You guys are killing me.
that's
My
right.
engineers are going to be like, you can't go on that show ever again.
Right. Well, I tell you what, though, and I
Wow.
tell you, we go to a lot of comic cons across the nation, and if I had this in my hand in possession, on a table doing one of the guests speaking, everybody, I would probably
Yep.
sell out. I probably couldn't carry enough
absolutely.
in because those look so cool. Your radio is so cool that I love it. I listen to it. I put it on old stations. I put it on what's the Mission Control? that
Mission
has, like,
Control.
Yeah.
it's coming through. I think all
NASA,
these things where-
NASA messages.
yeah, you can just
Yep.
find and just leave it. You can just it's just ambient noise.
Yeah.
It just has that feel about it. Like I said, I think that part of it you can get like I don't know, thousands of radio stations wherever people are broadcasting their Wi-Fi radio.
Yeah. The internet one is
radio,
definitely,
like
has,
super
I think
cool.
it's over 25,000.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
thousands. I mean,
crazy.
Yeah, not thousands, 25,000. Come on, get it together now. Jeez.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean I just think it's I think you guys have great products. I think you have a great mission. I love what you're doing there. It's been awesome having you here. So where can our audience find more about C.Crane and what's on the horizon for the team? I'm going to pull up the
Yeah, it's
the website.
ccrane.com. So that's
Yeah.
CCRANE.com. And that's the place you can order a free catalog if you want paper. Some people like that.
What?
You can go on our website.
Yeah.
We also have a blog off of there. So if you want to learn more about radio, we have a lot of articles about noise and about how you get better reception, how you get more distant stations, how to make your own antenna,
Nice.
all those kinds of things. And then, of course, you can order online or you can call us. So we have an 800 number. We're open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. And we have people right here in Fortuna that actually answer the phone and take your calls.
Real people.
Real people.
That's
real
it. Oh,
people that
nice.
have worked at the company for a really long time for the most part. So a lot of radio knowledge.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they can walk you through it. Hey, listen, you're visually impaired. I need some help. Can you help me? Yes. Here's what we're going to do. I love that. I love
We
it.
even have some audio instructions as well, so that we can provide. So even people maybe that aren't blind but just struggle with reading instruction manuals, maybe their vision, it doesn't work the way it used to.
Right.
They can also listen
Oh.
to the audio instructions and walk
Oh, that's
themselves
great.
through it.
Oh, so you know about moose? Okay, gotcha.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, we really enjoyed having you on. That's for sure. Thanks
this-
for being here.
They say
Thank
these
you
work
so
better.
much for having me.
Yeah, don't go anywhere, Jessica. We're going to play this outro, and then we'll say our goodbyes, everybody. You guys know what time it is. This is the time that Game God gets to go to bed. He goes night-night now. Join us next week. We'll have some fun stuff to talk about. We got all the gang back. We want to thank Jessica Crotty for being here from C.Crane. Thanks for being here, Jessica, again. I know we've said that a number of times, but we really appreciate it. We're going to come up with something for this audience to figure out what they can do to win one of these wonderful radios. We'll catch you next week.
I was just leaving. Da-da-da-da.
Nerd alert, nerd alert, nerd alert, nerd alert.
You've been listening to Podcast for Sci-Fi with Moose, Game God, and Magic Mike. Nerds have more fun. If it's anything sci-fi, we're talking about it. We had fun, and we hope you did too. We have to split, but we'll be back soon. In the meantime, hit us up at podcast4sci-fi.com. This is Podcast for Sci-Fi, where all things sci-fi come to life. Come to life.